Finally, some real things to sink our teeth into. Hello everyone, and welcome to this new video that will be about the topic of the F1 2023 winter tests, which took place in Bahrain. Before we start, I just invite you to subscribe, activate the bell, like, and share this video with your friends who follow F1 to support my content. We will go back to each team to take stock of the end of the tests, although, as I mentioned, the times are not entirely significant. Let's start with the bottom team of 2022, Williams. Personally, I hoped and imagined big progress on the car's side so that they could have the opportunity in 2023 to play for points from time to time and ultimately aim for a potential 8th place in the Constructors' Championship. As mentioned in the intro, the times and feelings from the tests are not entirely significant, but still, I have to admit that I am now a bit reserved, since the fast laps, even with the softest tyre compounds, were not outstanding, and the car, in general, doesn't seem to have the required qualities to play for points regularly. Nevertheless, the picture is not entirely black, since the reliability remains very good, as evidenced by the absence of mechanical problems. There were also no particularly remarkable errors from the drivers, which is a good sign, especially for rookie Logan Sargent, who still needs to get familiar with the world of F1. Now let's focus on Alfa Tauri, which, for me, has a similar assessment, which makes me think that these two will find themselves in battle quite often in 2023. Like Williams and also its big sister Red Bull, the Italian team benefited from good reliability during these 3 days of testing, as attested by the first place and the number of laps completed. Despite this good point, we could feel that regarding the times and therefore fast laps, it was less convincing. For me, as I already imagined before, we are heading towards continuity in terms of performance from 2022, so that won't be very interesting. But this season, what will pique our curiosity and attention will be the duo of drivers, which promises to be special. It remains to be seen how the two will adapt and which of them will become the new leader of this team, which, since Pierre Gasly's departure, has lost the former one. On the Haas side, it was a good testing phase, which took place without any particular drama or mishaps, and I think it did them good to finally focus on the car only. Hülkenberg's return went well. He seems to get along well with his teammate, and his performances are largely satisfying, and I hope his technical feedback is also good. They also managed to complete more than 400 laps over these 3 days, making them the 4th team to have driven the most. Optimism is therefore in order, since also on the car's performance side, it was quite good, with fairly satisfactory fast laps and a not-so-bad behaviour. Attention, it's now time for the reveal of Aston Martin's 2023 winter tests, which impressed many during these trials. Despite Lance's absence, replaced by the third driver, Felipe Drugovich, Aston managed to deliver a solid and impressive performance with very fast lap times while maintaining a fairly good reliability. With this in mind, I believe they will be able to compete for at least 4th place this new season. You can really feel the progress made this winter, and perhaps Stroll's investment will finally pay off. Be careful not to ignite anyway. For Alfa Romeo, the results were positive with very good lap times, as Joe set the fastest lap on Friday and Bottas the 3rd fastest at the end of the last day. However, there are some doubts about reliability since Bottas also broke his gearbox on Saturday, which raises some concerns about this point. Not to mention that unfortunately, the porpoising reappeared during the C43 testing phase. This may be due to the particular settings used only to test the car, but it should be noted that this phenomenon is still present in their car. In my opinion, at least for the beginning of the season, the team will have regained some performance compared to the end of 2022, and good points will be at stake in the early races if the reliability is there. In contrast to Aston Martin, it was McLaren that had the most complicated and disappointing tests this year. An unstable car and pretty bad lap times justify these concerns. I thought they were ready to fight for the top of the midfield, and I even placed them as favourites, but now my prediction needs to be revised in light of alarming statements regarding the car. It's a bit like a repeat of 2022, as they had already encountered some problems, such as with the brakes, for example. But what is most worrying now is that the team wants to make significant changes to this MCL60. It remains to be seen whether these numerous improvements made before the first Grand Prix will make a difference. For Alpine, there are still many unanswered questions. They have driven very few laps, only 350, and their performance didn't reflect in their lap times. Two possibilities are conceivable. Either they believe they have a car capable of scoring big points, and they are hiding their cards to avoid attracting attention and not alarming the competition. Or the improvements made this winter are not conclusive, and the French team has a lot of catching up to do with Aston and perhaps even Alfa Romeo. In either case, the truth will be revealed in less than a week, but for now, many doubts remain. At Mercedes, the assessment is mixed. On the one hand, it's rather satisfying since the porpoising is finally a thing of the past and the pure performance seems to be not bad based on Hamilton's lap times on Saturday. But on the other hand, during these 3 days, reliability has sometimes been lacking and the behavior of the car is not incredible. In addition, despite a performance that is undoubtedly less worrying than in 2022, pessimism is in order for the team since they will certainly not be up to the level of Red Bull and Ferrari at the start of the season, whereas they finished very close to both last year. Could it be the year of reconquest for the Italian team with the prancing horse? Unfortunately, I don't think so, despite very encouraging tests that took place without real hiccups, knowing that Ferrari is the third team that has run the most. This is only and simply explained by the domination and superiority of Red Bull. Once again, the Ferrari seems to behave well and be fast, but Red Bull appears to be a notch above. Just to finish with them, apart from very minor reliability issues quickly resolved, it is clear that they now have the best engine in all respects, a chassis that is still good, and even aerodynamics at the top despite their wind tunnel penalties this year. So who can stop them in 2023? That is the question. So, the video is coming to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll probably see you next week for the debrief of this first Grand Prix of the year, which promises to be magnificent. See you later!